Hello, here I am again for your second class. We'll see what happens today. Arnika's out of quarantine, so we get to use the downstairs of the house. First of all, you might want to stop and get a prop for this class. You'll need a chair. It can be a folding chair. We'll just be using it like this. So you could stop the video and bring a chair near your mat, please. Okay, let's start. Find a comfortable place on your mat for our opening. And of course, as always, become aware of your breath. You may close your eyes if that's nice. And one mantra to use could be, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And if your mind is busy, just let it do its thing. Bringing your concentration to the breath and have the brain find its own background noise that you can ignore maybe. Today's focus for the body alignment portion will be telescoping the ribs, which means lifting the ribs up off of the hips. So as you sit here in this beginning meditation, as you breathe in, lengthen up through your top of your head, and maybe your ribs lift up a little bit away from your hips, farther away from your hips. Relax your shoulders. And then come back to your breath. We've been walking a lot, our little family of 3, in the woods, in the forest, and I've been thinking about trees. And then I got a message from the Sandpoint Sangha with a quote from Frank Otisewski, which I've trimmed down a little bit. I'm going to read it while we sit in this meditation. Last night I dreamt of a willow tree. In my boyhood, in the midst of abuse and suffering, a weeping willow became my companion, my solace and teacher. The tree held me. Most importantly, it reminded me to bend, not break. Fear, cynicism, and despair are poor strategies for survival. Lean into belonging. Weep, share love, embody compassion. Reimagine hope. Stand up on your own behalf and against injustice. Find a place of rest in the middle of things. The resilience we need now is best expressed as bend, not break. Begin to smooth and lengthen each breath. Find a smile. Turn your lips up. With your next breath out, release whatever tension you can. Just let it go. Let your shoulders relax, your forehead. And then blink your eyes open. And let's move right into standing pose right now. So come to standing. Tadasana, mountain pose. We could also really call this tree pose. It's that solid. Standing in mountain pose. Bring your palms together at the center of your chest. Breathe in, lift your heart. Breathe out, release your shoulders. Continue to breathe. Find the cadence that will sustain you through this practice. The breathing in and the breathing out. And then move your arms up, arms overhead, thinking of yourself as a trunk of a tree. Active feet, active hands here. And start bending with the wind like a palm tree. Finding your breath as you sway back and forth. Loosen it up a little bit. Make it easy. You don't have to have straight knees. And then bring your arms to your side. Step out a little wider than your regular mountain pose. Bring your right hand to your hip. Raise your left arm. And come into a side bend. So you're bending here to the left. Make a little bend in your elbow there. And push down with the left heel. Push that into the earth. And reach up with the left elbow and now let your neck go. You can bring your right hand, back of your hand around behind you to your sacrum or the small of your back, and maybe open your heart a little bit to the sky. Let your neck go. Look down at the floor. Find some place in the back of your neck that might be opening in this neck release pose. And then move your head 45 degrees further forward. Big breath into those left ribs. And then finally, left ear right above right ear. Bring your arm up, palm down, and then reach out with those left fingertips. Put your hand right on your ear, your right hand, and don't bring your head down, but just lengthen the neck by pulling it out, just a little gentle type, pulling it out. And then release your right hand and come into this nice release. Bring your hands to support the side of your face and come on up again to this mountain pose with a nice wide base. And wobble your head around just a little bit. Gently, gently, gently. Breathe. Bend your knees, wiggle around. And let's go to the other side. So now your left hand is on the waist. Inhale. Draw your right arm up, reaching up, and then come into the side bend. Yeah, opening up those right ribs. Nice big breath. You can even push this left hip out to the right a little bit if that feels good. And now bring that right hand around behind you and see if you can open up to the sky a little bit. Let your head go, let your neck go. Now look down, maybe at your left foot. Breathe. Come up 45 degrees. And then finally, right ear over left ear in the neck release pose. Release your left hand. Stretch your right arm out. Fingertips are reaching out. Now we're really trying to get into the neck here. And a little tug of the ear that direction, not pulling it down. We don't want to push and force the neck. Yeah. And then release that left hand. Okay, pulling out with your right fingertips, supporting your head. Come on back up. And release, come back to mountain pose. And come down to the mat. for dolphin. I'm going to roll my sleeves up so that I get a really firm grip for my elbows on the mat. So come down to elbows and knees. Grab onto those upper arms and give them a good squeeze. They like that. Contact and touch is good. And then either bring your hands out to interlace together like this for more support, or if you're an adept at dolphin pose, you can spread out your fingers and you can be in parallel. Let your head hang down. Start breathing into your upper back. Hump up. Yeah. Let your head just hang loosely as you draw your shoulders farther away from the mat. Turn your toes under. Press down with your forearms for good support, and then lift up. Keep your knees bent at the beginning of this dolphin because I want you to tug your seat back. I want you to get really long. We're still trying to get the hips away from the ribs. Yeah, there you go. Drawing your chest closer to your thighs. If you're comfortable, you can start straightening your legs here. Remember, if this gets to be too much, come down, bring your knees down, and take a rest. You can still be finding that length of your torso. Breathing in dolphin pose. Jackie, you're going to like this at the end of this period. You're going to like dolphin pose. One more deep breath in and out. And then slowly bring your knees down. Take them wide for child's pose. So draw your hips back. And now we're opening up the armpits. Bring your forehead down to the floor. Keep your arms extended. And release in child's pose. Breathing. I like to think of trees giving us the oxygen. I looked up how many trees it takes for each person to have enough oxygen. And the answer I got from Google was 7 to 8 trees for every person to provide us with oxygen. Okay, we're going to move into embryo pose. So walk your knees together. Now you're going to bring your butt back by your heels and then sweep your arms around. And I like to just grab onto my feet. That feels good. So you're just rolled up in a little egg. Breathe into that lower back. And now release those shoulders down. Broaden the top of the back. Breathe into that area that you worked in dolphin pose. And then slowly come on up to seated. And we're going to move right into salutation. So stand up. Come to the front of your mat. Palms together. Arnica's the camera person again. So she's going to try to fit my whole body in. There we go. Let's come back to the breath. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathe in. And release the breath. Inhale, move your arms overhead. We're going to stay here for 2 breaths. Activate your feet and your hands. Maybe climb up one shoulder and the other like you're climbing up a big ladder, and then let your shoulders come down. So you're making it longer between the hips and the ribs. You're telescoping the ribs. Okay, big breath in. Bend your knees. Exhale, forward bend. And we'll stay in forward bend a little while. Keep your knees bent, maybe straightening one leg a little bit, and then the other, just playing with it. This is your first forward bend of the day, maybe. Swing your head back and forth. Let your neck be really loose and wobbly. Okay, bend your knees so you can bring your fingertips down to the floor. Pick up your left foot, bring it back behind you for Anjaneyasana. And then just come up to place your hands on that bent knee. Come onto the toenails of the back leg. Activate the front foot by lifting the toes right up off the mat. Okay, to find telescoping of the ribs, what we're going to do is push down against the top of the knee and get taller. Yeah, feels good. And maybe bring your hips down lower and forward a little bit. This might be where your Anjaneyasana is today. If you want to come into the full pose, arms are going to come overhead. It's a little bit of a back bend. Nice breath in. Pause your breath, fingertips to the floor, pick up your back knee, step back to plank. Inhale, bring your knees down. Pull your heart forward, telescope the ribs. Exhale, come all the way down, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Sphinx pose, elbows into your shoulders, palms spread out, and you're just going to use those hands on your mat to pull your chest forward, pull your heart forward. Get a nice lengthening of the torso here. Okay, bring your hands back into your shoulders, and with an inhalation, lift back up into downward dog, downward facing dog. You can have your knees bent or however you like it. Come up on your tiptoes and press your fanny way up into the sky so you get really long in the torso. Let your head be loose, and then maybe your heels will come down a little bit or a lot. Everybody's different. You can come up on your fingertips if you like to step forward with your left foot, right knee down. Come onto the top of that foot, and once again, bring your hands to your knee and push down so you can get really nice and long. You're going to be taller when you finish this class. If you like, you can move up into Anjaneyasana. Always smiling in Anjaneyasana, please. Fingertips to the floor, lift the back knee, step forward to forward bend. Yeah. As you breathe in, come up, arms overhead. Exhale, palms together at the center. Breathe in. Breathe out, release. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward bend. Right knee back. Anjaneyasana with a nice long inhalation up into the beautiful smiling pose of offering. Fingertips to the floor. Exhale, plank. Inhale, knees down. Half plank. Exhale, come all the way down. Baby cobra. Set up for Sphinx. Tugging your heart forward. Lift your elbows just a little bit off the floor. And use your hands to pull you forward. Shoulders away from the ears. Hands back into your shoulders. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, bring your right foot forward, left knee down. Nice long breathing in as you come into Anjaneyasana. With a grin, please. Fingertips to the floor. Exhale, forward bend. Yeah. Inhale, come back up with a flat back and a loose neck. Exhale, palms together. Let's go again. Breathing in. Breathing out. Left knee back. Plank with an out breath. Half plank. Down to the floor. Baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Left foot forward, right knee down, Anjanasana. Forward bend, exhale. Bring your hands to your hips. Bring your hands to your thighs, I mean. Just come halfway up. Push the top of the thigh bone back as you telescope the ribs. And then release your arms right out in front of you and come on up, using your core and not your neck muscles. Exhale. I'm going to check the time here. Well, let's do one more. Breathing in. Forward fold. Right knee back. Plank. Half plank. Chaturanga from half plank. Cobra, baby cobra. Downward dog. Right foot forward, left knee down. Here we go, Anjanasana. Fingertips to the floor. Come forward for forward bend. Inhale, come on up. Arms overhead. Exhale, finishing palms together at the center of your heart. Release your hands. Standing in mountain pose, close your eyes. Find your breath. Check in on yourself. How are you doing? Okay, so step your left knee back and down, and then your right knee, and come into tabletop. This little series is from a back care class that I looked at that Rodney Yee led. Okay, so we'll come into cow, which means letting your belly reach down, lifting up your hips and your shoulders, and breathe here. Bring the head of the arm bones right into the shoulder joint area. And you know, you can look down or look straight forward so you don't crimp the back of your neck. With your next exhalation, lift your lower back up and come into cat. So you can picture your tailbone and the top of your head. If there was a line connecting, you would be making a big circle. Let your head hang. Broaden your back body. Inhale, come into cow again. Exhale, cat, slowly and smoothly. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And I want you to stay in this back bend. Turn your toes under and just lift up. Keep your knees bent. Lift up into a funny looking downward dog with your knees bent. And you're still in cow. Release your head. Okay, so push the mat away with your hands so you can get your hips farther away and you can telescope the ribs. And then you can start straightening your knees a little or a lot, maybe lowering your heels to a nice downward dog. Bend your knees a lot, and then just scoop forward till you're lying on your belly. Yeah. Bring your legs together and extend them out. Place one hand over the other and put your forehead down on your hands and breathe. Relax the shoulders. Take a break here. Relax the buttock muscles. Okay. Leave your forehead down on your hands. As you inhale, lift your left leg up, and don't lift it very high, more like extend it out toward the back, and extend the other leg. So you're really extending, you're getting a nice reach here. You're using your glutes, your back muscles, and your thigh muscles. Okay, bring that down slowly. Inhale, right leg comes up and reaches out. So it's more about extension than height. Exhale, release. Take that whole release seriously to really release your body. Inhale, back to the other leg, and you can lift your head up a little bit here, and your chest. Exhale, release. Bring your head down. Inhale, other side, coming up. And exhale, come down. As you can guess, we're going to do both legs now in Salabhasana or locust pose. So lift your head and chest. Lift your legs a little bit, but think about reaching them back. And use your arms to pull your heart forward so you're getting really long. Tighten up the butt muscles a little bit. Yeah. Exhale, release. Bring your head back down. Wag your hips back and forth. Okay, I'm going to move my mat here because, well, I'll just do it on the carpet. So there you are. You're still lying on your stomach, and come to Sphinx pose. Can you see this, Arnica, if I come this far forward? Mm-hmm. Does it work?
Yes.
Okay, so move your elbows out farther away. You're going to take, notice I'm trying to be a big teacher and do the left and the right reverse. All right, so you're going to pick up your left hand and snake it behind your right elbow. Reach it over. So I've got a right angle here. And I'm going to reach forward. This is called Svastikasana. And then I'm going to bring my head down and just let that left shoulder release. You're lying on it. You're adding to the stretch. And you can reach out with your legs behind you so you get really long here. Can you let the right shoulder relax a little bit? I hope you can hear with my head down. I keep lifting it up so you can hear me, but you should leave your head down. Okay, sweep that left arm back to your left hip, the left hand to the left hip. Yeah, it's a shoulder opener, as you can tell. Okay, so bringing the back of that right hand, around behind you, maybe up on your buttock, maybe up in the small of your back or a little higher. There you go. Now see if you can let that right shoulder release down. You might have a lot of sensation here. Breathe into it. And if you want one more thing to do, you can pat yourself behind the neck with your left hand. There we are. Really slowly disengage yourself from the pose, coming out the same way. So the right arm comes forward, the left hand comes out. You're free. Let's go to the other side. So your right hand goes under your left armpit there. And I'm going to turn my hand up just because it feels good. I'm going to reach forward with one hand and reach sideways with the other, and then let my head come down. And just get used to that. Feel how that is. Might be different on this side. Breathe into the back. Broaden the back muscles. Sweeping the left arm around to the left hip. There you go. You've got a little more pressure now on that right shoulder maybe. Let the left shoulder come down and let it release. Now, Snake the back of your hand up as far as this works for you, up your back. And once again, pay attention to those shoulders. Are they released? Are they down? And then for the final part of the pose, if you want to grab onto the nape of your neck, you can do that. Some of you really lucky people might be able to grasp your hands behind you. It doesn't matter. Very, very slowly come out of the pose. The left arm comes around to the front. The right arm comes out. And move back into child's pose again and take a little breather while I look at my notes. Breathing and releasing. Thinking of the exchange of oxygen and CO2. The symbiotic relationship between the forests and the mammals, and all animals. Okay. So let's come on out to standing, and now is chair time. As you probably guessed from the very beginning of the introduction, is we were going to do tree pose. It's a little bit of a different tree pose. So bring your chair in front of you. And the chair is better than the wall because you're really going to stay even with your fingertips on the chair. I try to choose a chair with some holes in the back so you can see what I'm doing. So find a really nice mountain pose. Find your breath. Staying in mountain pose without inching over to your left. Lift your right knee. Bring your right foot in somewhere against your left leg. Not in the inside of the knee. It might be down here. That's just fine. It might be way up here. Anywhere along the way, but you don't want to put pressure on the knee. Okay. So now I'm just pulling into the center, coming all the way up, just like a tree, getting all those nutrients coming up through the top. And I've got very light hold here on the chair. Now, bring your right hand, bring it up to the top of your right thigh and push down as you get long in the torso. This is why I like this new thing I found, because it gives you a chance to telescope your ribs in tree pose, with the support. You can stay here, that's just fine. You can lift one arm up. Whatever feels right to you for your tree pose. Remember, telescope the ribs, get long in the torso. And then coming back out, back to mountain pose. Take a nice breath, find your breath. It's kind of a nifty tree pose. I hope you could find a chair in your house that wasn't too big. Okay, so we've got our center line. We're zipped all the way up through the center line. We're standing on our own 2 feet. Lifting the left leg this time, finding a place, and use the support of the chair. So you're not working with balance right here. You're working with getting really tall, like a ponderosa or an aspen. An aspen is more flexible than a ponderosa. Now, bring your left hand to your left hip and use that pushing down against, your left thigh. Push down against your left thigh as you get really long in here. So you're telescoping the ribs, you're getting really tall. And then if you like to release, you don't have to, you can come up to a tree and breathe. Long side body. And then release back to supported mountain pose. And we're finished with the chair. Now that we're so long, let's come into a standing back bend. You need really strong legs for this back bend, so you're not tipping into your lower back. So make your legs into a really strong tree trunk. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, just inch, so you have a wall in front of you. Inch your ribs up. Exhale, draw your shoulders down. Again, move your ribs up high, your heart up high. Exhale, draw your shoulders down. One more time, inching up. And shoulders down. Strong legs help you support. If you'd like to release your hold, you can come into a standing back bend. Don't bring it too far. I don't want you to crunch this back. I want you to keep the back bend up in the heart area. And then coming out of the standing back bend, back to mountain pose, and just shake it out. Find tree branches that are moving around in the wind. Just do a little dance here. Okay. I was thinking of the theme that Frank set is to bend, not break. This is a tough time we're living in. This is going to be an era and the worldwide era that most of us will come through. And I'm hoping that the yoga will help us find some grace in this period. Some flexibility. We need strength, but we also need to roll with the punches. So let's move into half moon Krishna variation, which is a really nice pose for finding the flexibility and yet the strength of a tree. So, bend your left knee, find mountain. Cross your left lower leg your right lower leg in front of your left leg, and then watch that your hip doesn't stick out. Okay, inhale, get tall, telescope the ribs. Exhale. So bring your left arm up, palm up, like you're pushing against a cloud up there. But make it gentle. This is near the end of the class. Make it soft. Krishna is a very soft figure. And then your right hand will come pushing down. So you're pushing against the inside of a bubble. Now look over your right shoulder and come into a side bend to your right. Now, to keep your balance, you can push those two legs toward each other. Push them against each other. They'll give you the support. And breathe into your left rib cage. Okay, we're going to come out as gracefully as Krishna, who is a dancer. So come on out. Half moon, Krishna variation. Stand and feel the difference that maybe has happened from the pose. Other side. Now, bend your left knee. Bring it over in front of your right leg. Push them together like you're squeezing a toothpaste tube, and you can just feel that strength coming all the way up. This time, the right arm comes up and supports the cloud. The right hand comes down here. A little bit of a coquettish pose, and then coming in to the Krishna variation pose and breathe. Find some ease in this pose. Find some fun in it. Who are you smiling at down there? Who are you looking at? Is there a little sweet little Persian cat? I think the Persian cat has moved into the kitchen because our chef has moved in there, started to cook. With an inhalation, move gracefully out of Krishna variation into Tadasana. Step your left foot back into a lunge. So left knee comes down. Hands on your hips. Inhale, get long. Bring your left fingertips down. I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to push against my hip crease here and get long in the side body. We're coming into a twist. So I'm moving my heart forward. You can bring that hand behind you and see if that helps. And get all nice and used to that. And then when you're ready, raise the right arm and reach from the bottom hand up to the top and let your head go in a nice twist. If you want something extra with this pose, turn your back toes under and straighten that leg. And here we are in an easy twisting warrior. Coming back to fingertips on the floor. Lower that knee, step back to tabletop, and bring the other leg, the left leg, forward. Hands to your hips, get nice and long. Right fingertips down to the floor. Get long. And I think you should bring your left hand behind you this time, just to encourage your heart to go up. Let your head go. And here we go. One arm up. Find the length. Find this part of tree. Find the part of tree that's growing upward in those arms, growing up toward the sun, and the other hand going down toward the roots. And come back to both fingertips to the floor. We're going to do lizard pose before we finish here. So I like to turn, in this case it'll be your left toes out. And you might want to walk your right knee back a little bit. And just come down as far as you like. Maybe you're bending your elbows. Maybe some of you are coming down on your elbows. Let your head go. How about extending your torso when you're in this pose? Maybe moving your ribs a little bit farther away from your hips. What does that do? Opening the hips. And then walk back up. Come back to tabletop. I'm going to let the other cat in while you're getting into tabletop, and move the other knee forward. Coming into lizard pose. It's okay. We're a two-cat house now. Let your shoulders relax. Let your neck release. And then move yourself out of that pose and onto your backs. Knees up. Feet standing, rock back and forth. Pick up your left foot. Maybe you can reach it with your hands. And give yourself a foot massage here. Start squeezing. I like to start with the arch. Some of you might want to move over to the heel and the Achilles. Maybe separate those toes. The roots of your tree. Yeah. And baby cradle back and forth a little bit, releasing some tension. And then move that foot down. And let's go to the other side, this other foot. Is it cold? Is it warm? Do you have any blisters from walking in the forest? In the trees. Nice foot massage. And stir the pot or whatever feels good for your hips here. And move right into happy baby, which is so nice for the lower back. Yeah. Let your buttocks release to the floor so you're not all pulled up. Breathe into that lower back. Yeah. Relax the shoulders. Time for Shavasana. Find the position you would like to assume for Shavasana. Some of you might want to put your legs up on your chair or whatever you find to do in your Shavasana. Find your position. Let's do 3 releasing breaths for the beginning of Shavasana today. So big inhale, just bring a lot of air in and release it audibly. Can't hear you. Breathe in through your nose. Expand those lungs. Your last chance. Breathing in. Exhale. Let your whole body release. You're now a heavy tree lying on the forest floor, lying on the moss. I brought a poem by Mary Oliver today. When I am among the trees. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. Begin to deepen your breath. Moving gently out of Shavasana. Start wiggling around a little bit, rustling your leaves, your pine needles. Bring your knees up to your chest and give yourself a good squeeze. Thank you for practicing yoga with me today or tonight, wherever you are. We're all hoping we can be back in our yoga studio, but for now, this is what we have. Release your hands, roll to one side, and take a moment to feel your head resting on the floor. Keep that head heavy as your arms help you to come up to a seated posture with a soft neck. Bring your palms together. Tomorrow's Arbor Day, and I invite you and challenge you to find 6 or 7 trees. They can be town trees, they can even be trees inside your house, like a little jade tree. And thank them for their oxygen. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching the video and practicing yoga. Namaste.